Yeah, very good. Nice to meet you, man. My friend. Thank you for doing this. Means very much to me.
Okay, thanks, man.
So basically, to me, Diamondhead is massive, right? You influence Metallica, so to me, Metallica is my favorite band, right? And the fact that you, you influence Metallica is, to me, is amazing. How does it feel to influence such a big band?
Well, okay. Obviously, that influence took place before I joined the band. You know, I've been in the band 30 years, but from listening to Brian and actually meeting Lars on several occasions, there was a mutual respect that what Diamondhead was producing at the time when
Yes.
Lars came over to visit was something that obviously, you know, excited him, and he went back to the US, exported the idea, and put Metallica together. You know, from my understanding, you know, Lars has always had a respect for the band, and the reason for visiting the UK was to come and see Diamondhead.
Yeah.
He became very good friends with Brian and Sean and, you know, Colin and Duncan, and as they say, the rest is history. You know, so there's a very, very, very good relationship between the two bands, even though the bands are two separate entities.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot that joins them together also.
Yeah. That's amazing.
So
Right. So I've always suffered mental health myself, right? And to me, metal has always helped me cope with that. Um, so from your point of view, have you ever suffered mental health? And does playing metal help you in any way?
mental health, okay. Yeah, you know, I had a little, incident when I had my spine injury. You know, going through the whole process of, oh wow, whether or not you're going to be able to do this again, whether or not you're going to be able to do that again, and you know, music has always been part of my life from a very young age. I was a trumpet player for 10 years
Yeah.
before I became a drummer, and then pursued the dream of trying to become a professional musician in some way, shape, form, or another. Obviously, when I approached that at school, I was a trumpet player, not knowing that I would eventually, you know, love playing the drums, even though my father was a drummer, a dance band drummer back in the 50s and in the early 60s. Then the Beatles came along and put paid to all that dance band stuff. So I've always been around music. And when I went through my, you know, spine injury in 1997, I spent 97, 98, 99, 2000, 2001, 2002, sort of going through the whole recuperation thing. There were moments where, you know, I needed like some help.
Yeah.
And, you know, the concept of music and hopefully being able to play again after receiving the news that this might not happen. Yeah, you know, the driving force of, you know, music, metal, and hoping that, you know, because Diamondhead at that particular time had ceased to sort of really be a band after the 1993 thing. And I went on, you know, I did stuff in the US, in New York City / Brooklyn with a band called Dark Black Past. Then I joined a blues band. You know, then my wife at the time, we moved to San Francisco, and I joined a band out there, and that's where I had my accident, and my whole life changed. My whole life changed. So yeah, you know, the concept of music, and you know, especially the type of music, you know, rock, metal, which, as we now know, that, you know, has become such a huge thing for every, you know, on many levels. You know, I mean, the sheer amount of rock / metal festivals that there are around the world, and the way they are so well attended by, you know, this huge loyal fan base to metal. You know, so yes, you know, the concept of music being able to help people through certain times of their life, whether it's, you know, mental illness, or, you know, a bereavement, or, you know, a divorce, or, you know, the loss of someone very special, friend, etc., etc. You know, music plays a valuable part in the healing process.
Yeah, absolutely. So my brother died in 2017 from the same condition as myself. So
Okay,
I
I'm
was
sorry to hear that, man. Sorry.
yeah, I was very lonely for the time period. So then I started the metal band on my own, and
Okay.
my metal band became like a family to me, you know. And
Yes, for sure. Yeah.
would you say that
Yeah.
Diamondhead is like a family to you?
Okay. It's it's one of those things where it's a family and it's a bunch of friends at the same time.
Yeah.
You know, when you go out and you do several shows together, and you are away from home, you know, you are living literally very, very close to one. You have, you know, learn to deal with one's idiosyncrasies. You enjoy the camaraderie, the going on the stage, the being together. And then you have the moments of, you know, when everybody goes their own way, but when everybody gets back together again, there's this really wonderful feeling of collectiveness, that you're all pursuing the same thing in this one room that you are now in, rehearsing or, you know, doing pre-production for new songs, that everybody is on the same page, going in the same direction. And that is a wonderful feeling, being in a band, especially when things happen and you all look and smile at one another and say, wow, dude, that's great.
Yeah,
That's it.
sometimes it
It
just
works.
works, doesn't it? It just works, the song
Yes.
comes together, and yeah, it's magic almost, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
that's right.
So, you know, so and then again, you know, when you know, you go your own sort of ways after the tour finishes, etc., you know, you do sort of miss that being in that cohesive unit with,
Yeah,
you know, not only the guys in the band, but also the guys, you know, who help prove for us, you know,
yeah.
because it is, you know, it is like everybody's marching in the same direction. We're going to conquer, going to conquer the world. And it's like
And
that
that's
for every
generally what
band.
the entire metal community is like, isn't it? So everybody
Yes.
marches together, you know.
Yeah.
And obviously, you know, you guys have a massive influence on us as well, like.
Oh, thank you
So
very much. I mean, but,
yeah,
you know, I'm saying, you know,
but I
Brian
gotta
and
say the
Colin, Sean,
performance
and
you put on it was thought was very good, like. So I gotta say, I love your songs. I mean, to me, like, I listen to thrash metal. It's my greatest love with metal, thrash. And so you guys influencing massive fans is great to me. So my final question to you is, right, what does metal mean to you?
what does metal?
Yeah,
Okay. Now, being the age I am, which was going to be, I'm going to be 59 this year, metal, when I started playing music, was coming over from the Black Sabbath to the Led Zeppelins, the
yeah,
Judas Priest, the Freeze, the AC/DC. So the metal wasn't quite as defined as what it is today.
yeah,
Okay. But from the inspirations of all those bands of wanting to play that style of music, which were considered rock slash heavy metal, was a dream that I wanted to pursue. And the fact that I've been able to achieve that has meant a lot to me. And also to be part of this thing called the Metal Nation, you
yeah.
know, where these festivals are, you know, all over the world. I wish there were a few more in the US, but you never know, that might happen soon.
Yeah,
You know, all these festivals, and as a musician, I'm obviously as a musician that started during the new wave of British heavy metal period with my band Requiem, being a big fan of Diamondhead, joining Diamondhead, and
yeah,
then to be invited to play a metal festival in Brazil in front of a bunch of people who are metalheads and metal
yeah.
fans is great.
Probably
It's,
amazing, rocking
you know,
music, probably
you
amazing.
know, you know, even if I really, really tried, I don't think I could have foresaw that when
No,
I joined my first band like you.
yeah, that's mad.
You know, I may have wanted it. I may have like wanted to
Yeah,
be like UFO, like
yeah,
AC/DC, like Scorpions, but the fact that I play in a band that has been asked to play a show in Brazil or Sweden or Norway or Japan or Canada or the United States,
yeah,
etc., etc., etc. it is like a dream come true.
It's probably
You know,
amazing
I
feeling.
have wanted it, but you know, the fact that you've actually been able to do that
Yeah.
through this thing of rock, and now obviously, you know, metal being the hugeness that it is.
Yeah.
It really is great. And the fact that I'm working with guys in a band that not only experienced Metallica, but has influenced a lot of other bands and artists and musicians. That's quite humbling. It's nice to be in a successful band, etc., but to be in a band that has also influenced a lot of people around the world.
Yeah,
it's very humbling. Really
so have you met some of your metal heroes?
Some of my metal heroes, yes, I have. I still, guys from AC/DC. Let me see, Queen, Black Sabbath, Judas Priest.
Yeah.
Okay, now Deep Purple.
Yes.
Status Quo. Yes. Yeah.
That's incredible.
So yeah, I have been able to meet some of the people whom I was in front of the stage at, waving and singing along to the songs. And obviously, for me, being a huge Slade fan, having the honor and privilege of working with Jimmy Lee.
Yeah, that must be incredible.
Yes, yeah. I mean, and listening to all his stories from the late 60s, early 70s period of rock and roll and the pop craziness. And
yeah, it was kind of that period when it started, in the 60s and the 70s.
Yes.
That's when metal was born, kind of. For
sure, yeah. Some metal riffs in some of that early, pop rock, Sweet, Slade, some really good bands, some really good riffs, but yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing to hear you speak so passionately about metal. Like, as a fan, it's incredible that you feel the same way as I do. Like,
well, thank you, sir. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, thanks for that. All right, you're right.
Okay, man. You take care.
Thank you so much, man.
Yeah. Best of luck with the documentary.
Okay, you're right.
Okay, man. Peace and music. You stay safe. Okay.
Bye, man.